Really a nice class of February heifers here. The heifer we're going to go ahead and use to win the class, we really like her in terms of her structural design. We think a female that's got that much rib cage and that much depth aside, and she's really neat right through her throat and through her chest. A heifer that when compared to the heifer in second, we think she's a little better right behind her shoulders. We think she's a little leveler and higher placed about her pins and moves just a little stouter out of her hind leg. We really like the flexibility of the heifer in second. She goes second because we like her in terms of her structure. We like her in terms of her body. She's really long from the point of her shoulder back to her pins. She comes with just a little looser leather up front, and I don't think there's quite as much look to that heifer as the one we start with, and not quite as square right behind in terms of her hock. Young man's got a real cowy, broody female that comes out next that we liked quite a bit. A heifer that gets out and travels pretty good, just gets a little plainer up to her front end. Young lady's heifer that comes next is more striking and more elegant and more attractive at the stand. We just want to change her off of her hind leg when you set the cattle in motion. The young man's heifer we have coming out next, I think, just outperforms the young ladies, just more size and more volume. The young lady's got a really attractive heifer there. Just need to see a little bit more of her today for her to get any higher.
Well, congratulations over here in the Hereford Ring. Results of Class 24. First place exhibited by Madeline Grace Thompson of Amity, Missouri with KLLTR 111F Candy 10KET. Second place, and congratulations. We'll go to back number 30263, exhibited by Marilyn Page of Mano, Oklahoma. Third place in that class, exhibited by Crew Cummings of Hollis, Oklahoma. Fourth place, exhibited by Chancey Clark of Muldrow, Oklahoma. Fifth place, exhibited by Hardy McCollum Edwards of Winterville, Georgia. And sixth place in that class, congratulations to Caitlin Holbrook. We'll now bring in your first and seconds and select a division here in our Horn Junior Heifer Calf division.
As we get out here for your junior heifer calf, really another pleasing division of functional cattle that are pleasing for us because we're being able to find what we're looking for. The heifer that wins the first class, I think, does a lot of good things into a complete package. The heifer that's just overwhelming in terms of her mass and her power and her design, yet she does it in a flexible skeleton, and you get her out on the side, a heifer that's nicely balanced. She's not quite as tidy and is in her throat and as small necked as the one behind her, but we do think that there's quite a bit more to that heifer in terms of mass and dimension when you compare to the one right behind her. We like the heifer in second really, or the heifer behind her really well. She's unique. We love her body. We love her hip and hind leg. She's neat necked. I mean, her throat, there's nothing there. That heifer probably doesn't have the length of top, the length of hip that the one right in front of her does. We think that the seconds are both really, really good, and one of them I think is in contention. We'll get him over here, but we think there's a heifer that puts everything together for us. Kyle, go select her, and let's give these young people a round of applause. It's been, I'll tell you, your average age of your showman today has probably been about 12 years old, and I think as a breed, they already know what they're doing as a breed. You have to feel really, really good about the future. Let's give these young people a nice round of applause.
Well, congratulations over here in the Hereford ring. Your champion horn junior heifer calf goes to KLD. Toiger 1KET, exhibited by Hadley Dunklau of Wayne, Nebraska. Well, in the Hereford ring, we are going to move into your next division. Next class in will be Class 25, Horn Senior Heifer Calves, born November 5th to November 23rd of 2021. Reserve in that last division over here in the Hereford ring, congratulations. We'll go to back number 30255, KLLTR 111F Candy 10KET, exhibited by Madeline Grace Thompson of Amity, Missouri. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors.
really a nice class of Novembers as we start the fall division. Extremely high quality individual in terms of her balance and her elegance is from the side. Really like the freshness as this heifer comes to us in terms of her composition. We like her in terms of her structure and her flexibility off of both ends. A heifer that still doesn't disappoint you in terms of the width and dimension that she has coming out of the top side of her shoulder. And when you get in behind her, she probably doesn't have maybe the swoop that the heifer that we have in second does, but we think she's got plenty, and we think she's just really high quality and put together right. The heifer in second, we'd like to probably see her doesn't have any EPDs, but we think that this heifer still has enough quality and balance and depth of body to compete, to beat the heifer that we have in third, a heifer that she could stride out just a notch longer off of her hind leg. Young ladies heifer we have coming out next, one that is probably a tick longer striding off of her back end, a heifer that just doesn't have the attractiveness up through her front 1/3 and the elegance in terms of her neck coming out of the top side of her shoulder, but three really nice females to start off that division.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are about ready to get started over here in Ring 2 with your Angus Super ROV Bull Show. We're excited to welcome your judges today, Mr. Jim Pimpkin of Republic, Missouri, and Dave Nichols of Manhattan, Kansas. If we can please put our hands together for those gentlemen joining us here at the Cattlemen's Congress. Well, back in the Hereford ring, we have the results from Class 25. Congratulations, first place. Bred known by Landry Allen of Nacona, Texas, with BACC Miss Spice 178 ET. Second place and congratulations goes to Gentry Close of Grove, Oklahoma. And third place in that class exhibited by Braden Disney of Boonville, Arkansas. Now in ring 1, we have Class 26. These are Horn Senior heifer calves, born October 3rd through October 8th of 2021.
Well, we sure have a nice way to start off our class and our Angus show this afternoon. A pair of really nice May calves that are going to be automatically our division winners. Both of these calves are nice representatives of what this breed has to offer in terms of maternal and muscle and power and mass. Lead off the class, Dave, and I think the calf that wins the class, just as more complete from front to rear. I think he transitions a little nicer and neater from his neck back into his shoulders. It ties back into his forearm, not only at the side view from up into his spine. I think he's got more relaxation and flexibility out of his spine. I think he handles his front leg with just a little more natural authority from the knee down into his front leg. Really base wide when you get behind him, very youthful in his presentation. Change him a little bit, you might like to see him a little deeper heeled, just a little more force and power pushing off that rear leg, but a calf that wins it fairly handily in our estimation. The calf that's going to be reserved today, the first thing you see about him is the performance, the muscle, the shape, the mass that he possesses. You really like that. He's going to have a lot of performance. He's going to add a lot of pounds to a set of calves. We'd like to see him in a more pleasing package. We'd like to change him a little bit out of that front joint, out of his front shoulder, and make him a little nicer and longer from the side. Nice pair of bulls.
Over in your Hereford ring, we have a nice 4 October heifers here. I think the heifer that wins the class, though, does pretty handily. I think that heifer really does a nice job combining structure and power and dimension, and yet she puts it together in enough attractive enough package. You know, she's not freaky in terms of her throat and her chest, but we really like the dimension and overall volume that she has, and we think she moves as good as any heifer we have within the class. We really like the heifer in second. She's maybe a bit more conventional in terms of her frame size. You make her a notch bigger, and it may get a little closer up front, because we love this heifer in terms of the look that she gives you from the side. She's got a tidy little neck and a big belly. She's level hipped, a heifer that moves out pretty nicely. She's just not near as dimensional and powerful as the one in front of her. Now the heifer in third has the same volume and the same power that our class winner does. She just comes to us in a little straighter package off of both ends and needs to have just a shot more belly, but there is an added advantage to that heifer in terms of her bone and footwork and power over the heifer that concludes the class. Nice class of females.
Well, over in our Angus ring, we're excited to get started with your bull show here at the Cattlemen's Congress. We have made our way through the first division. Your first division champion will go to back number 10502, Moffat FMJ06. Congratulations to breeder and owner Jillian Moffat of Colfax, Iowa. Reserve in that first division goes to back number 10501, WGA Maverick 12K, exhibited by Holly Rose Marsh of Earlville, Illinois. Now in ring 2, we have class 2B. Back over in the Hereford ring, we have the results of class 26 here in your Horn division. First place and congratulations will go to Catherine Coleman of Modesto, California with BK Jet Mist 1043 JET. Second place in that class and congratulations will go to Grady Kramer of Waxahachie, Texas. Third place and congratulations also to Catherine Coleman, Modesto, California. Fourth place exhibited by Gracie Gist of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. Now in ring 1 is class 27, Horn Senior Heifer Calves, born August 24th to September 26th of 2021.
Another nice class in our Angus Bull Show. Pair of calves that are definitely different in their types and kinds. We're going to give up a little bit of natural shape of muscle and dimension of muscle when you get right behind him, and use a calf that I think is a little bigger footed. I think he's got a nicer angle to his shoulder. I think he ties up a little better and more neatly from the top of his shoulder back into his spine. I think he's deeper and more open middle through his heart girth and through his midsection. He does disappoint me just ever so slightly when I get behind him. I'd like to see a little bit more natural pin width and a little more base width and natural muscle expression. But you really like this guy from front to rear, how he transitions, how he blends. He's very youthful in his presentation. He can get out and glide with a little more stability, a little more ease of movement. The Keffin 2 is the one that's got a little more muscle, a little more shape, a little more natural rib shape to him. I just don't feel he quite addresses the issue of show bull quite as well today. He doesn't transition as well from the top of his shoulder, from the shoulder back into that forerib as well. He just doesn't find that comfort zone off that left rear foot. Just a calf that we'd like to change a little bit in terms of structure. I do love his base width, his natural muscle, and his expression all the way through. Nice pair.
Well, congratulations over here in the Angus ring. Results of Class 2B. Congratulations. First place will go to ACC Escalade 2219. Bred and owned by Kyle Anderson of Chrisman, Illinois. And second place in that class will go to back number 10506. Owned by Leighton Jane Strait of Fairmont, Oklahoma. Now in the ring is Class 3B.
As we get into the last class in this division, I think there's a heifer that does win this class, and then I think it's a little closer from there. But the heifer that's the most effective combination of structure and attractiveness and freshness, still with plenty of center body, plenty of width, is the young lady's heifer we're going to go ahead and start with. When you compare her to both the heifers right behind her, her neck ties higher out of the top side of her shoulder. She's slender in terms of her neck, and she's smaller from the top side of her neck down to her throat. A heifer we really like in terms of her hip and hind leg. Heifer that's got plenty of softness. We think she's probably the freshest one of the four as well. I think it's close between 2 and 3. We think the heifer in third moves with just a little more flexibility. We like the freshness, the shape, and the leanness of the heifer that we're going to go ahead and run second. We think she's just a little cleaner down through her chest floor. A heifer that we think is just a little longer in terms of her spine and her gauge. We do like the heifer in third. We think that she's a big hind-legged heifer. She's got some bone to her. Where we want to change her is, I think at this stage of the game, she's got enough chest and enough throat. I don't think that heifer has been overfed. I think that's just the way she's kind of built. But we would like to change that, and that would help her balance when you analyze her from the side. She is a little longer toed and a little shallower heeled compared to that one right in front of her, but really a good female. The young lady's heifer that comes out for us certainly is not one that has as deserving probably to be last in class. She just got into a really good class that was small in numbers. That heifer's long-bodied and has a good hind leg. Maybe just not the attractiveness up front of a couple of the heifers we have in front of her.
Well, congratulations over here in the Hereford Ring. Results of Class 27. First place and congratulations will go to Jenny Funderburg of Stephenville, Texas, with purple Eleanor 125J. Second place in that class, and congratulations to Grady and Hudson Carter of Stratford, Oklahoma. Third place in that class was exhibited by Joseph Shore. In fourth place, Marilyn Pecha. Now in the ring, we are going to bring in your first and seconds. Our judge will select their champion reserve senior heifer calves.
As we get out here for your senior heifer calf division, again, we have been very pleased the way these classes have come together and the type kind of cattle that we're finding. We're really we're able to find exactly what we're looking for in each and every class. The heifer that wins the first class is one we really like in terms of her squareness. Heifer that when she comes at you and goes, it's got width of chest, she's square and she's wide pinned. Really a nice hind leg in this female. A female that's good in terms of her underline, in terms of her top line. A heifer that when she comes at you, she can roll in just a little bit. She's not the longest fronted one, but she's certainly cowy. She's good in her shoulder. She's nice in her jaw. She's slender in her neck. I think a nice female there. The big power heifer is the one out of the middle class. She is the highest performing. She's the heaviest muscled. She's got the most weight per day of age. And she does all that being really good in terms of her feet and leg structure. When you get the three on the side view, a heifer that probably is third in terms of her balance. When you analyze this heifer, she wants to get just a little lower chested. She has a little more throat, and she gets a little higher right there in her loin. But it's certainly one that we appreciate for having that much power and weight per day of age and still being very flexible. Then the heifer down here on the end is the one from the side you really prefer. That heifer gives you a really striking, high quality, fresh look. We love the way she's designed up through her front 1/3. She's very slender and she's clean in her condition. Heifer we like in terms of her structure. We realize she's not the most dimensional or highest performing of the three, but we sure like the way she's built. We're going to have Kyle go out and select the two we like the best, but please give us, these young people, a nice round of applause.
An interesting class in our Angus division this morning in this class of bulls. 5 bulls, 5 different kinds. It's kind of like going to the grocery store and looking at the bottom shelf and finding that all packages are not equal, a variety pack, and getting these. If we had the technology to go ahead and combine the top 3 bulls in this class and make one individual, I think we could find one that we would like quite a bit. The calf we go ahead and use to start with, I'd like to tone him down for me a little bit in his overall growth curve at 12:31 at the end of March. He's a powerhouse, but where's he going to shut down? Where's he going to quit at? That's my concern on this one. I love the power. I love the muscle, the mass, the shape. If I could change him, I'd change him from his knee down into his front foot. I'd change him into his rear pastern a little bit with a little more flex, a little more softness out of that rear leg. But he is a powerhouse, the biggest, the heaviest bull in here with one of the bigger testicular circumferences. Then we come into a calf in 2. I think he's just a natural fit in the second position today. He's a calf that is base wide. I think he's got some dimension, some length of top. I think there's more muscle, more scrotal circumference, and more power in him than we have in the calf in 3. The calf in 2, I'd like to change him out of his shoulder design and his structure. I'd like you to lay him back in his blade just ever so slightly so he can reach out and grab some more ground with that front leg. The calf in 3 is the soundest of the top 3. I'll be the first to say that. When he first presents himself to you, you want to get him to the top of the class fairly handily. He's very unique, and he's kind, and he's tight. He transitions so well from front to rear with some natural base width. But you look down between his hind legs and look at 25 scrotal circumference on a March calf. That's even a little too small for me to use him any higher today. I love his type and he's kind, his flexibility, his foot size, his angles. He just needs to be a little more masculine in his makeup for me to get him any higher today. The calf in 4 is one that you like when you get him stopped. He gets a little bit more out of his comfort zone when we put him in motion, a little straighter in his design, a little more perpendicular on both ends, but still a high-performance calf with a lot of things to offer in terms of pounds and performance. The young lady's calf to finalize the drive of 5 is one that just gives up some pounds and performance. He's not quite ready for the day. I think he's sound. I think he's complete. He just needs a little more time to go ahead and genetically develop to his potential. Nice class of bulls, definitely some differences from type and kind all the way through.
Really nice late July heifer here, one that you really appreciate the presentation on, one that's presented very nicely and shown very well. A heifer that's got really good body, yet she comes to us really fresh and in her condition, and a heifer that you have to appreciate for squareness of hip. Heifer that has a nice hind leg. She has a little crest. She toes out just a tick out front, but I think a really nice female this young man's brought out for us.
Well, congratulations over here in the Hereford ring. The results of your senior heifer calf division. Your champion was exhibited by Jetty Funderburg of Stephenville, Texas. And reserve in that division was exhibited by Landry Allen of Nocona, Texas. We just brought in class 28. First place in that class, and congratulations to Jason Bost of Rocky Ridge, Maryland. We'll now look to bring in class 29. These will be horned early summer yearlings. Back over in the Angus ring, we have the results from class 3B. First place in that class went to Del Porto Syndicate, bred and owned by Dawson Lee Del Porto. Second place in that class, and congratulations, goes to Emily Keiswetter of Farmington, Illinois, with KA Black Panther 217. Third place in that class, and congratulations, bred and owned by Brax Parker Frederick of Stephenville, Texas. Fourth place in that class was bred and owned by Crow Creek Farms in Lawton, Oklahoma. And fifth place went to Elizabeth Covey of Van Buren, Arkansas. Now in ring 2, we have class 4B here in your Angus Bull Show.
Just one May heifer here in your intermediate division, but certainly one we like quite a bit. A heifer that's really square and true in terms of her structure. She comes and leaves you very collected and very flexible. A heifer that's very dimensional when you get on top of her and behind her. She's fresh in terms of her condition. You know, she could maybe be just like a tick deeper bodied, but a heifer that I think with the way she's built, you have to keep her pretty fresh. We really like the dimension and the soundness of this heifer. It'd be nice to have her back out here. Get those two in this division back out here for your champion reserve.
Well, congratulations in Class 29 over here in Hereford Ring, first place. We'll go to back number 30287, Purple Avita 100 JET, exhibited by Sarah Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. We'll now bring those two first placings in, select a champion reserve in your intermediate yearling division.
Two really nice individuals out here and two heifers that have advantages over one another. The heifer that was out of our first class is probably a little sleeker fronted, a little deeper bodied. Where we want to change hers in terms of her front end structure, we'd like to set her back at her knee and have her come at us just a little square. The heifer out of the second class is one that is ultra square and dimensional all the way through. Everything kind of goes in the right direction. We like the heifer down her top and out over her hip. I think a very functional female. We talked about, you know, she's not freaky necked and swoopy bellied, but she's square and sound and true. We've been trying to stay very close to structure and making that our main priority. So she's going to be your division champion. The young man's Summerborn is going to be your reserve. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Well, congratulations in your intermediate yearling division. Your champion exhibited by Sarah Rose Sullivan, and reserve exhibited by Jason Boss of Rocky Ridge, Maryland. We'll now bring in Class 30 over here in the Hereford Ring. These will be Horn Spring yearling females born April 3rd through April 18th.
4 really good bulls in this class. I'll let you look at the paperwork and let you sort through it however you want to. So there's definitely some differences. We didn't use the best numbered bull to win this class. We'll be the first to concede that. But he's a calf that I think you look at him and you look at combination cattle that have structural integrity, muscle mass, dimension, volume, some things you really like. He kind of climbs to the top fairly handily for us. Where I would like to change him is from his knee down into his front foot. I'd like to see that front foot lay a little more parallel with his spine, but he gets off of it with some ease, and he's got some cushion on both ends. Just a pretty good kind of bull to start the class with. I feel that our biggest challenge was between 2 and 3. I think number-wise, I think these bulls are very similar in terms of number profile and EPD profile. I think the bull in 2 is more massive in his foot design. I think he's more massive in his bone circumference from the knee down and the hock down. I don't think he's quite as neat and nice through his shoulder structure, especially his lower shoulder, as compared to the calf in 3. But when we look at him, I look at him 3/4 and I get behind him. I just think there's more bull there. I think there's more pounds and performance in terms of base width. I know when you put them on the scales, they're very similar in weight per day of age and weight today. I just think on down the road, there's going to be a little bit more shelf life in this one with the foot quality and the foot size that he possesses today. The calf in 3, you get him stopped, you love the youthfulness of this calf. He is designed so neatly up through his shoulder and his neck and how it transitions from neck to shoulder to body. He's flexible in his spine. For me today, he's a little more frail in his bone work. I think a little smaller in his foot size compared to the previous 2. But I like this calf in terms of ideal type and kind. He's one that has a nice look about him, a nice breed character look about him. If I could power him up ever so slightly, I think he climbs to the top fairly handily with the number profile that he has with him. The calf that finalizes the drive of 4 in a really competitive class is one that you love him when you get him stopped and get behind him. He's base wide. He's got a lot of natural thickness of top. He just doesn't transition from his shoulder back into his forerib with as much power, as much softness and dimension through his midsection as the previous 3, and that's why he's in the 4th position today.
Three really nice females over here, and I think basically there's one judgment call to make, and it's up on the top end. We're going to go ahead and go with the heifer that we feel is a little fresher, a little more attractive up to her front 1/3. She's more slender about her neck, a heifer that when you analyze her, she's a little longer cannon-boned female that I think just has a little more extension and more eye appeal and comes to us a little more of the condition that we prefer. We certainly appreciate the heifer in second for her wide build and a female that is soft at the ground. Just comes to us, needs to be a little more feminine up to her front 1/3 and just lean down just a shot. The heifer that comes out third is a nice female. Heifer that's got some power and dimension up through her top and over her hip. Just maybe not the femininity and softness of rib that those 2 heifers we have in front of her, but a very nice female for that young lady as well.
Well, congratulations over here in the Angus ring. The results of Class 4B. First place went to Faree Fitz, Black Label 2229, bred and owned by Houston Faree of Sullivan, Indiana. Second place in that class went to Boyd Shannon 2035, bred and owned by Boyd Beef Cattle of Mayslick, Kentucky. Third place in that class was bred and owned by Grant C. Ward of Oak Grove, Missouri. In fourth place in that class, congratulations, bred and owned by Horsley Bros of Galva, Illinois. Now in ring 2, we have Class 5B here in your Angus Bull Show. Back over to the Hereford ring, results of Class 30. These were Horn Spring yearling females. First place and congratulations goes to LSC Jada 106 JET, exhibited by Denton Clayton and Houston Stapleton of Clinton, Illinois. Second place in that class and congratulations will go to Creighton Carpenter of Leedy, Oklahoma. And third place in that class, congratulations, goes to Hannah McCurry of Stratford, Texas. Now in ring 1, we'll have Class 31, Horn Spring yearling females, born March 3rd through March 21st of 2021.
really a big class over here. And, as soon as they walked in, I knew it was going to be somewhat of a difficult class because from the beginning, there wasn't one heifer that you looked at and you said, that one's going to compete for the bottom. There wasn't one heifer that when she walked in, we said, there's no way that one's going to get beat. It was a lot of really good heifers that you had to really sort through, and I'm very happy that we came down to these two heifers. I think they're the two that most effectively combine structure and balance to the highest degree. I think we're going to go ahead and use to start with is a little fresher. I think she's not probably any nicer in terms of her front end, in terms of the top set of her crest to her throat, but we really like the condition that she comes to us in. We like both of these heifers in terms of their teat size and their udders. We think both heifers are plenty sound. We just like the freshness of the heifer we start with. We think she's a little better also right in behind her shoulders. She's a little neater and has a little more presence off of her hip and hind leg. The heifer in second, just a good functional female. When compared to the heifer in third, we think she's longer fronted. She's higher tying in terms of the neck set on the top of her shoulder. She's a little cleaner through her throat. This is a very nice heifer, maybe not quite the pizzazz of the one that stands right in front of her. Really a good functional heifer that we really like in terms of her structure, in terms of her wideness and chest floor. Heifer that's really wide pin, heifer that is starting to spring up, and she's done a nice job getting her bred. Just a little plainer up through her front end when you compare to those two in front of her. Young lady's heifer that we have coming around next, a heifer that you really like her foot size and her bone and her squareness. A heifer that she too has maybe just a tick more throat and chest to her, but we like this heifer's kind. She doesn't have probably the size and the volume of the three heifers we have in front of her. Every once in a while, she can get just a little uneasy in terms of her pasterns, and that's an advantage we probably give to the young man's heifer that comes out next. This heifer is a little bigger framed and a little prettier fronted. Heifer that when you get her out in the move, though, you want to change the way she's off of her hind leg into her stifle, which causes her to shorten up just a little bit. The young lady's heifer that comes out next is really attractive, but bigger framed and shallower bodied. The heifer that concludes the class is probably easier doing, but a little plainer, not quite a little coarser in overall design.
Well, congratulations over here in the Hereford Ring. Results of Class 31. First place and congratulations goes to Ella Weldon of Piedmont, Oklahoma, with EXR Primrose 1501 ET. Second place in that class, and congratulations, goes to Breonna Laramie Stewart of Bloomfield, Iowa, with K. Shelby's 414. Third place in that class, congratulations to Riata and Rolton Boysedin. The fourth place in that class will go to Kylan and Cameron Oaks. Fifth place, and congratulations, will go to John Robert Dower. Sixth place, and congratulations to Sarah McMahon Harfst. And seventh will go to Madeline Cooper and Wyatt Weber. Now in ring one, we have our next division here in your Horned Hereford show.
Another big class of bulls, our February yearlings. 9 head in here. Again, we've got a big difference in type and kind from top to bottom all the way through. If you want to get them sorted a little differently and talk them that way, we can do that all day long too. There's so much variety in I'm sure pedigrees, but there's so much variety in types and kinds and performance. You don't really find two that go together and go fit together and demand to come to the top of this class, and I'll be the first to say that. There's bits and pieces of each one of these bulls I like, and there's bits and pieces of each one of these bulls I'd love to change. The calf that we felt was the best combination bull in terms of muscle mass, structural integrity, depth and dimension is the calf we're going to start with. He's perhaps the one that's not got the pizzazz and the wow factor about him when you get out here, but you really analyze him in terms of foot quality, foot size, joints. He's cleaning his joints. He's tightening his sheath. He's a calf that's got some performance in pounds and performance all the way through him. He's base wide. He's chest floor wide, and he's still youthful enough up front. I just like to see him balance up a little bit more nicely, see him a little more powerful out of his neck and his head if I really wanted to change him today. The calf in 2 is the calf that more closely follows the type and kind. I don't think he handles his front foot and his front knee down into his front foot as well as the calf that precedes him in the lineup. But you look at the rest of these bulls in terms of width through their pins, width up through the upper dimension of her hip structure, and down low. He's as base wide as anything left in here. He also transitions very, very well. He's got a little more sheath, a little more jiggle underneath, but he's a calf that's high in performance. He's a calf that looks good in a number profile, and he's a calf that looks good in person. So 2 just kind of was a natural fit for him in our mind today. The calf that surprises us a little bit every time we get a good look at him is the calf in 3. We haven't been able to get a good look at him very often. He's been a tough one to get shown today, but he does combine a lot of things in terms of muscle mass and dimension and structural soundness and integrity and a nice look. He gives you a nice look out through that front 1/3 and a bull with a lot of things to offer. The calf in 4, he's a calf that is a little more tubular in his design if I want to pick him apart. He's got a little more sheath dangling underneath his belly. I'd like to open him up a little bit and change him in that way to really move any higher today. I love the presentation of this calf. Big-footed, he can glide when you move him. He's just a little bit more restricted in his rib today, and I think he gives up a little bit of performance factor when it comes to that situation. The Powerhouse Performance Bull is the next bull. Here's one when you get him stopped. You love his performance, his depth of rib, his openness of rib, the growth and the power he offers and performs. He's got a little more sheath. His tail kind of takes away from his balance from front to rear, but we don't hold that against him. Where I would change the bull is how he handles his hind leg. I'd like to see him handle it with a little more authority as he walks away from you, and that's where I would change this one. I love the type and kind and the performance package he has to offer. The next calf back is one when you get him stopped, you love him. He's thick, he's powerful, he's good-footed, but you really look at the masculinity side of things, and the bulls, I think, need to look like bulls. He just looks a little more steery to me. I think he's a little more sucked up in his jawline. I don't think he's quite as attractive and quite as glidey out of his shoulder and his blade or off his rear leg. He's really nice to look at. I just don't think there's enough bull power there. The next calf back is one that I really appreciate the extra things he has to offer in terms of extra frame, extra length, a lot of extras in this bull. There's probably too many extras for me because he's going to be a big one when it's all said and done. Powerhouse that doesn't handle his front end with as much ease of comfort and doesn't find that comfort zone as well. Then we drop into a calf that just gives up some performance and data. He's super sound. He's super attractive. I just don't think there's enough bull there today. Finalized the group of 9 with a pretty good one, just not ready for the day.
Really nice division over here in your Horned Hereford show. The heifer that wins the first class, this is one that the very first time we saw her, she didn't jump right out at us, but the more we analyze this heifer, the more we like her. I think this female comes to you very fresh in terms of her condition. I think she's flexible enough in terms of her skeleton. When you compare to the heifer right behind her, she's a little stronger topped. Where we want to change this heifer is, she's a little crestier right there about her neck. She's probably not got as nice a teat and udder structure as the heifer right behind her, but we like this heifer a great deal. We like their structure out of her front end. The heifer out of the second class is one when you get off to the side of them, kind of has the it factor in terms of length of front end and length of body, and still drops down a really nice rib cage. She's not the most powerfully constructed and widest bodied one, but she's really got a nice hip design heifer that's ultra fresh, really nice in terms of her udder and her teat design. The heifer we talked about out of that first class that was second, that's a neat heifer that's good and where she's good. And we probably liked her even better when she came back out here, just because we like the way she moves and she's wide. I like them a little prettier and a little more feminine than what she is. The heifer that was second in that class, we liked that heifer. She was pretty flexible. She gets back out here, and that heifer's coming apart just a little bit, not balancing up quite as good in her top line and from the side view, but still a really nice heifer. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause. Kyle will go select the champion in reserve.
Well, congratulations over here in the Hereford ring, your horned spring yearling female. Congratulations, champion goes to Ella Weldon of Piedmont, Oklahoma, with EXR Primrose 1501 ET. Reserve in that division will go to back number 30289, LSC Jada 106 JET, exhibited by Denton Clayton and Houston Stapleton of Clinton, Illinois. We're now going to bring in Class 32 over here in your Hereford division. Back in the Angus ring, we do have the results from our last class, Class 5B. First place and congratulations went to Twin Falls Abbott TF93, bred and owned by Twin Falls Angus in Cheney, Kansas. Second place in that class went to EXAR Safeguard 2141B, bred and owned by Express Angus Ranches in Yukon, Oklahoma. Third place in that class went to VZR Diamond Jack 2212, bred and owned by Orion and Bridget Van Zee of Sioux Center, Iowa. Second place in that class, and congratulations, goes to Ward Brothers Livestock and B&D Angus and Herefords. Fifth place in that class, and congratulations to Express Angus Ranches. Sixth place was exhibited by Casey Lee Meyer of Blue Hill, Nebraska. Seventh place exhibited by Bryn Bullerman. Eighth place in that class was exhibited by Jeff Fruling and Austin Nowatsky. And ninth place in that class, and congratulations will go to Lonnie Harris and Lazy JB Angus. Now in ring 2, we have your second division here in our Angus Bull Show.
Really a nice class of Februaries that I think fits together for us pretty good. The heifer that comes out and wins the class, I think, just does so from a quality standpoint, quality and coupled with structural soundness and freshness. Really a sound female when you analyze her from the ground up, soft structure down low, correct angle off of both ends. A female that when you analyze her up through her front end, she is really good. Heifer that ties high, she has no throat, no chest, just really free of composition. And one reason you can bring that heifer to the show a little fresher is there's some dimension in this heifer. There's some dimension when you get up on top of her and out over her hip. You know, she's not the biggest and the most overwhelming in terms of performance, but she's built right. The heifer in second, I think second and third are a little closer. We like the heifer in second in terms of her presence up through her front 1/3. We thought she was a little nicer in terms of her chest floor and her throat. She was a little longer bodied. We probably like the front end structure on the heifer in third a little bit better. She sets back at her knee a little nicer than the one that we put into second. This heifer, when you get on the side of her, doesn't balance quite as good in terms of her chest floor, but she is a little stronger over her loin. A nice heifer there too as well. The heifer in fourth, I think, just has more flexibility and more mass to her design than the heifer that comes out after that. The young lady's heifer we have coming out next is really extended, just needs a shot more body and more dimension, a more powerful hind leg.
Let's put our hands together and give these Angus bull exhibitors a nice round of applause, a nice set of bulls in this division. We've had some ups and downs in type and kind, and I think as an industry, as a breed, we've seen that. But I think I'm really pleased with 8 individuals we have out here in this championship lineup. Hopefully, we're getting to the point you can see what Dave and I are hopefully trying to do is find something with some shelf life, something that's going to be here 4 or 5 years down the road in a breeding pasture, in a breeding situation, and still adding value to a set of calves. Cattle that are performance-oriented but still very attractive. We've got a few things to say about that later in the day, but just go through these 4 real quickly, and then we'll let Dave slap your champions. The calf that wins the first class, you love him from the side view. Just disappoints you a little bit more when you get right behind him. I'd like to see him a little more base wide. I do love his length of top and length of spine. He's a calf I think will develop some muscle and some muscle mass. It just needs to be a little bit more there today to compete in this division. The calf in 2, a big performance oriented one. He's big and stout. Perhaps reaches that upper limit where I want to find one. I'd like to see this calf a little more youthful. I think he is pretty mature looking at this stage in the game. He is going to be a big, stout bull with a lot of pounds and a lot of performance. As I said earlier in class, where I'd like to change him as much as anything is from the knee down into that front foot, see him a little more parallel to his spine in that foot placement, see him with just a little more comfort zone off that front leg. The show bull of the 4s, the calf in 3 that won the class 3. He's the one that's presented ever so nicely. He can get out and glide. He can get out and move. Yeah, he's not perfect down through that front foot, but he's still one that is so attractive. Not as nice numbered, an EPD profile if you want to get down to those issues on a daily basis in your own program. But he's a calf that's base wide. He's got some real natural muscle, some depth of rib. He can really get out and move with some cushion off both ends. Just a calf that's pretty easy to look at. The calf that wins the last class, he's one that's real performance-oriented, really deep-middled. You love the internal dimension of this calf. If we could power him up just a little bit out of his neck and his head, just give him a little bit more masculinity and authority at this stage of the game, I'd really like this one quite a bit. He's one that's got some nice angles about him, a nice cushion to his foot placement, both front and rear, clean in his joints, really base wide when you get behind him, big performance-oriented type of bull, and a nice profile to match. Our seconds are cattle that are excellent representatives. A calf that stands out in our mind is the calves in 3rd and 4th, that in those 3rd and 4th classes that place second. I think those are 2 good individuals with some performance and some pounds and a lot of things to offer a program. Dave will pick your champions. It's been a fun division. We'll see a few more of these later.
just one January junior yearling here, but one that really does a lot of good things for us. This young lady has brought her here in really nice condition. You know, this heifer is one that is definitely above average in terms of power and dimension. A heifer that balances very nicely from the side. She's fresh enough in her condition. A heifer that can get out of her front end pretty good. If we're going to change her, she could maybe have just a little more set and flex to her hock. But I think this heifer is really good. It'll be interesting to see her back out here in your division. Congratulations, young lady.
Well, congratulations over here in the Angus ring, the results of your second division of Angus Bulls. Congratulations, your champion that division goes to Faree Fitz, Black Label 2229, bred and owned by Houston Faree of Sullivan, Indiana. And reserve in that division, coming out of your last class in that division. Twin Falls Abbott TF93. Congratulations to Twin Falls Angus in Cheney, Kansas. We're now going to get started with Division 3. We'll bring in Class 6B. Well, back over in the Hereford ring, we do have the results of your last class. First place exhibited by Maddie Jenkins of Athens, Texas. Second place went to Aubrey Rakestraw. Third place in that class, and congratulations to Marilyn Pecha. Fourth place, congratulations, John Robert Dower. And fifth place, Samantha Unruh. In class 33 over here in the Hereford ring, first place exhibited by Taylor and Thomas Boatman.
I certainly want to thank Jim for giving me the opportunity to help him today. We've been friends a long time. A single entry in this class, November bull. Certainly a lot of meat and muscle to the calf. We'd like to stouten him up a little bit, make him travel just a little freer. He lays a little straighter in his shoulder, give him a little more slope. We'd like him a little better in those case, but a nice bull for the single entry this class.
Well, congratulations back over in the Angus ring in 6B. First place exhibited by Charles Parr of Mason City, Illinois. Our next class in is Class 7B.
Another single entry in this class. Just a calf you like. A lot of things about him, the ability to get out and move and travel. He's got some cushion on both ends. Super long topped and spine. He's a calf that's got some extension out through his front 1/3. You might like to see a little bit more stoutness right behind his shoulders. It transitions into his forerib, but just a pretty nice individual. Can get off his hind leg with some cushion and some ease of movement. Just a nice single entry class winner.
Out here for your junior yearling champion. There's some give and take, but I think as we analyze the cattle and try to just keep doing the same thing we've done all day, I think we've certainly made a decision. The heifer out of the first class, I think, is one of the best in terms of feet and leg structure that we've seen so far in the horn show. I think a heifer that just truly exemplifies what you want to see off of both ends in terms of flexibility, set, and angles. I think this heifer is really, really fresh as she comes to us, and she's very attractive out through her front 1/3. She's not real far along, probably, in terms of calf. We maybe could see just a shot more rear rib and flank, and that's an advantage we give to the heifer in second. You know, we think this heifer is designed really nice. A little tail head hair would go a long way on this heifer, but I think this heifer is just one that is so complete and so sound and so fresh. And you know, I don't know what her end point is, but she's one that I think still has some go to her. The heifer we have out of the second class is one that we really like as well. This heifer balances very nicely from the side. She's fresh enough. She's very extended. A heifer that probably has the advantage in terms of depth. She's maybe just a little neater in the way her tail head sets. Where we probably think that she's not as good is she's not quite as tidy in terms of her chest. She's not quite as flexible off of her hind leg, but an awfully good female. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause, and Kyle's going to go show you how we like them.
Well, congratulations, your junior yearling horned Hereford over here in our junior ring. Congratulations to Maddie Jenkins of Athens, Texas with BACC 228Z Tara 108ET. And congratulations, reserve in that division. Coming out of Class 33, Taylor and Thomas Boatman of Rockford, Illinois, with Perks 1502, Mary Jo 1002 ET. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We'll now get started with your final division here in our Horned Hereford show. This will be Class 34.
Your last class of the day, and like Kyle said, these two are about as polar opposite as two can get. But I think when you break it down to the fundamentals, the female that we're going to go ahead and use is the sounder structured female that's got a nicer udder. A heifer that she's got EPDs versus the one in second that doesn't. This heifer I appreciate. I think she's a nice size. She's good in terms of her structure. I think she's got the advantage in terms of udder quality, and her calf's got a little more substance to it as well. I think the second pair is one that is really highly presented. You can tell that we talked about in the polled show how hard it is to get a cow-calf pair ready, and somebody spent some time on this pair and getting them ready. I mean, they're fit impeccably. These two young ladies do a really nice job showing. Unfortunately, today, when you come back and have a calf at side, sometimes it could be your disadvantage if your udder doesn't set just perfect. And we'd like to probably see her have some numbers. But I certainly want to commend you for the time and effort because those cattle are presented amazing. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
I think 3 really nice bulls within this September class of our fall 21s. I think the calf that has probably the least amount of issues is the calf that we're going to start the class with. I'd still like to change how he handles his front leg and his lower shoulder structure from the lower shoulder down into his front foot. I'd like to see him put a little more natural pressure on that inside toe and get out and flex that knee and grab a little bit more ground when we put him in motion. But when we get him stopped, he is the show bull. He is the pretty one. He's the one that's extended, square-hipped, got a natural pizzazz and environment. I like the tightness of sheath. I like the testicular shape and the curvature and the angle of his rear hock and pastern. Just a pretty good kind of bull to start off the class. Then what I felt was we just had more structural integrity in the Keffin 2 compared to 3. I think he handles that front shoulder and front leg with so much more ease and comfort. The third place bull wants to get out and paddle at you and just doesn't find that comfort zone. I would like to see maybe a little more natural expression of muscle in the Keffin 2, but he's a calf that blends and extends very well out of the front 1/3, transitions very well from that shoulder back into his forearm, and he does have some base width. He gives up a little bit of lower expression down through his stifle, but a very useful, very attractive, what you see is what you get kind of bull. The Keffin 3 is one of those performance bulls. He's a powerhouse, probably one of the bigger footed calves we've seen throughout the day, but when we put him in motion, he's a little choppy on both ends, gets a little more perpendicular out of his shoulder, just doesn't find that comfort zone we'd like him to find to go any higher today.
Well, congratulations in the Angus ring. Results of Class 8B first place went to BRDG Primary 26B, bred and owned by Bowen Bridges of Edmond, Oklahoma. Second place in that class, and congratulations. We'll go to Collins Angus Ranch and Kristen Sharon Sankey with Sankey's Frontline 150. And second place in that class, and congratulations goes to Ryan and Bridget Van Zee of Sioux Center, Iowa with VZR 24 karat 2141. We're now going to bring those first and seconds in. Our judges will be selecting their champion reserve senior bull calves. Over in the Hereford ring, we are bringing in your champion and reserves here in our Horned Hereford show. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you could put your hands together for all of our division champion and reserves here at the Cattlemen's Congress in our Horned Hereford show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our reserve division champions as they enter the ring.
Again, another nice division of bulls in our fall 21s. Some bulls that limited in numbers like we are. We could make some changes, but there's a pair of bulls I think out here that complement each other very well. I think they're bulls that have got some shelf life to them. They're bulls that are attractive. They're bulls that have got some natural performance and muscle. They're bulls that are laid in through their shoulder design. They're flat in their blade. That'll be our winners of the last class, our first and second. They're going to be our division champions in this class, in this division. Nice pair of bulls. They complement each other very well.
Well, congratulations. Your senior bull calf will go to BRDG Primary 26B, bred and owned by Bowen Bridges of Edmond, Oklahoma. And second place in that class, and congratulations. Your reserve senior bull calf in this division is going to go to Sankey's Frontline 150, owned by Collins Angus Ranch and Chris and Sharon Sankey. We'll now bring in Class 9B over here in your Angus ring.
Well, as we get back out here and we begin to round out today in the Hereford ring, first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to all of you exhibitors all day long. It's been a great show, and I knew coming into it that it was going to be a good show. I mean, the Hereford breed is on top, and I think they've had good cattle all the way through these classes. But even better than the cattle have been the kids. Like Tyler said earlier, we've seen a lot of young kids that are doing an awesome job, and I think the future's bright for this breed, and very impressed with the cattle. Like I said, I knew coming out here would be a good show, and I'm certainly very honored that Tyler asked me to do this with him. It's something that, evaluating cattle on a daily basis is something that we do 24/7 and talk about on our own cattle, and it's definitely a fun thing to do when we come back out here together and evaluate a show, and it's something that I cherish and I am very honored to do. And so with that, I'd also like to thank Tyler personally for having me come out here and help him. Very, very grateful for the opportunity to do this with him. With that, I'd also like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank my mom and dad. They're here somewhere. I can't thank them enough for all the opportunities they've given me over my life and to put me in this position that I'm in today. I'm certainly grateful for that. I'd like to thank my mother-in-law and father-in-law. I know they're here. They do a lot for me and Lauren and Hudson and really help us out and make it to where me and Lauren can do what we need to do here at shows. So very, very grateful for what they do for us. I'd also like to thank Lauren. I know she's probably up here watching, her and Hudson, and certainly this is something that we like to do, and it's something that I am certainly grateful that she is able to do it with me to work on cattle and do this lifestyle that we have. It's certainly I can't thank her enough. She sacrifices a lot for me, and I sacrifice a lot for her, and it just I think we work well together, and I'm certainly very blessed to have her and to have Hudson along with it. So with that being said, I'm not going to keep going. We got a great crew in the back. I thank them too for everything they do for us. I mean, they put up a lot of hours and a lot of hard work to to keep things going back home and even here at the show so me and Tyler can do this. So I won't talk any longer. It's been a long day. I'll turn the mic over to Tyler. Congratulations to these exhibitors. Let's give them a nice big round of applause.
That was really good, Kyle. You covered a lot of bases. I won't be quite as windy as what I normally would be because you did a nice job. Like Kyle said, we do this every day together. You know, he and I, along with the help of my dad, we calve the cows out. We breed the cows. We're in the show barn along with some really good guys and some really good help. We have boots on the ground, and we're there every day. We believe in this. We give you our honest opinion because we know how much time goes into it. We know how much money goes into it, and we couldn't have had more fun today. I, too, want to thank my family, my wife, Courtney, is busy in the other ring, and then I'd like to thank my little girl, Piper, at home. She's 1 year away from showing, and then she'll be able to come with us. But it is crazy how difficult it is to pull out of the driveway and come to a show when you know you're going to be gone. She's changing every day, and she's so much fun, and it is tough, and it's a sacrifice. So we take that very serious. My wife does everything for me, and I couldn't do anything without her. I, too, have really good in-laws that are home taking care of Piper so we could be here. I appreciate that. Without my family, I would have never been given any of the opportunities I've been given. My grandfather, my dad, my uncle, my mother, all my family, just what they've done for me. It is because of them I've been allowed to do what I love to do. I think your breed association is as good as any. I think that the leadership on top all the way down, I mean, you've got people in place that have been in that place, and your breed just kept striving, and I think that you ought to be so thankful for the leadership that you have at the top of your breed. I certainly don't do anything in my life without recognizing God, because I truly believe I wake up every morning that, everything happens for a reason. I wonder a lot of times why I've been blessed in my life. I wonder why I've been put in this position. And I think one of those reasons is to bear witness for him, because there's a lot of times I don't give as much as I should. I have a lot of flaws. But I feel like bearing witness in front of this many people and encouraging young people to believe is why he's put me in this position. Let's give these young people a round of applause. We've had a great time, and congratulations.
Nice pair of bulls in the Angus side. Different as night and day, complete opposites, complete 180. But guys, you look at the paperwork, they're fairly similar EPD profile-wise till you get over to that weight per day of age and weight. We've got one that outweighs the other one by right at 300 pounds. These are Julys, guys. In my mind, we need to put a top shelf on this thing and realize we don't need the elephant ads coming back. We don't need to worry about anything but raising good cattle every day. I think the bull that wins the class does so because he is a good bull. I think at a 2.95 average daily gain and weight per day of age, he's a bull that's still very youthful in his presence. I think he has the advantage in his shoulder structure, in the angle of that shoulder, how it extends out of his neck. He's not as big boned. He's not as big footed. He's also a little tidier underneath. He handles his top with a little more authority. He's really long. He's really fresh in his presentation. I think we need to make more of these kind. The Keffin 2 is one, if you need some performance, he's a big, stout, big-footed bull. He's got some depth and dimension. I just need to tone him down. For me, he's a bull that I'd like to see just a little bit more conventional in terms of how he handles his top. I'd like to see him a little more tidy underneath through his chest floor. A big powerhouse bull with a lot of performance. I just need to tone him down for me personally today.
Well, a big congratulations over here in the Hereford ring, your grand champion horn female here in our junior show at the Cattlemen's Congress. Congratulations, Maddie Jenkins, Athens, Texas, with BACC 228Z, Tara 108ET. And congratulations to your reserve champion, horn female. Congratulations to Maddie and Marcy Harward of Richfield, North Carolina, with boy Fiona 243 KET. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. A special thank you to our two judges today, Mr. Tyler Cates and Kyle Scheffler.
Just a single entry here in our June class. I think you get to looking at a calf, extremely long-bodied, smooth-made kind of a bull. It probably could be stoutened up just a little bit. Do like the way he gets out and moves. He fills his track pretty well. Really long-ribbed kind of a calf that's got a fair amount of muscle. And like me, doesn't have a whole lot of kind of what you see is what you get. A nice calf here in our June class.
Well, back over here in the Angus ring, we do have the results from Class 9B. First placing, congratulations, will go to Express Angus Ranches of Yukon, Oklahoma, with EXAR Cobra 1734B. Second place in that class, and congratulations went to Silvera's Heritage 1028, bred and owned by Silvera Brothers of Firebaugh, California. And congratulations again over here in the Angus ring. We had a write-in Class 9B1. Congratulations went to Creed Caldwell.
Again, if we had the technology to combine these two bulls, I think we could find an individual we would like exceptionally well. The calf that leads off the class does so just from a structural integrity standpoint. I think he's got a little more cushion on both ends. I think he handles that rear leg with a little more authority. He handles that front leg structure and his shoulder with a little more slope to his blade, just a little more comfort zone when we put him in motion. I'd like to pick him up ever so slightly in terms of his frame score at this stage in the game, but I love the depth and dimension of rib and the openness of rib, and he doesn't get to disappoint you whatsoever when you get right behind him him in terms of muscle mass and dimension. The calf in 2 is one that when you get him stopped, you appreciate his muscle, his depth, his dimension. He gets a little more perpendicular out of his shoulder. I'd like to see his testicular circumference a little more even, a little more balanced. He's got a little bit of scabbing. Maybe he got to a cold night sometime. We definitely need to work that. But where we need to change this one is just from the structural integrity standpoint, give him a little more cushion on both ends, especially at that rear leg and rear pastor.
Well, congratulations in Class 10B over here in the Angus ring. First place, bred known by Corey Moser of Larchwood, Iowa, K&J TCF True Intent. In second place, and congratulations will go to Jared Williams Strait of Fairmont, Oklahoma, with Straight's Roundtable S490. We'll now bring in those first and seconds, and our judges will select their Champion Reserve Intermediate bulls.
Let's put our hands together and show some appreciation for these 5 bulls within this division. Maybe wake up a little bit and enjoy a nice stay in Oklahoma. Again, we've got a little bit more disparity in terms of type and kind throughout this division. If you don't agree with what Dave and I have done, that's fine. That's your opinion, and it's a very valid one if you would like it. Today, we're the ones that have to sign the book at the end of the day, and we're going to visually look at them. We're going to look at them numerically, and we're going to try to sort them the way we'd like to take them home. The calves that won our divisions, they're different all the way through. We have a calf that won the first class. He's a calf that's very fresh in his presentation. Maybe just like to see him a little bit more powerful down through his midsection and his heart girth, but he's so neat and attractive and very visually acceptable. He's got some cushion about him when you put him in motion, and he's square out of his hip. The calf in the second class winner was the one that he was the one that's numerically pretty nice, pretty easy to look at. He's a calf that, no bells and whistles anywhere. Perhaps this environment is not his best, but he's sound. He's got some muscle and some shape about him. The calf that won the third class, he's, again, one that's moderate in his frame score. He's base wide. He's got a lot to him. You'd like to see him tied a little neater, nicer through his shoulder, back into his spine, lift him up a little bit through that front one leg from his knee down into his foot. Just see him with a little more front end elevation, but a calf that you like very, very well. Then we got a couple of powerhouses that are second places. They're big, high-performance bulls, bulls that will do the industry quite a bit of good if pounds is the game and what you're after. Dave's going to pick you a pair, and we'll have a pair of intermediate champion calves.
Well, congratulations in your intermediate bull division. Champion coming out of Class 9B. Congratulations to Express Angus Ranches in Yukon, Oklahoma with EXAR Cobra 1734B. And your reserve champion coming out of the same class. Congratulations to Silvera Brothers of Firebaugh, California with Silveris Heritage 1028. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now going to bring in Class 11B here in your Angus Bull Show.
David, I apologize for taking a little bit more time on this class. There's a pair of bulls up here on the top end I think are deserving of that extra time, and we want to make sure in our minds that we place them the way we think we want the day to go. I think from a structural integrity standpoint, I think the calf that wins the class handles his front leg and his shoulder structure, lower shoulder structure, with so much more authority. I think that's one of the big things that separates him in Dave in my mind. He's a calf that I would like to just stretch apart a little bit. I'll be the first to say that. I'd like to see the length of spine that we have in our calf in 2. But the calf in 1 also has an advantage in decision of sheath and the position of that sheath underneath his belly line, as you can see from the profile. He gives up a little bit of length, but when you get right behind him, I don't think he gives up any muscle width. I sure don't think he gives up any base. He ties very well from his shoulder back. The big thing, we just like to stretch this one out a little bit, and I'll be the first one to say that. The Keffin 2 is one that I love him from the side. His extra length at top, his extra extension in front. He's one that's really base wide, and when you get behind him, where I would change him is give him a little more comfort zone off that front leg. I'd like to pull that sheath up a little tighter to his body wall, and that's where I would like this one changed just ever so slightly. The Keffin 3 is one that ends up in a pretty tough class. He's a calf that still has some base width, some dimensions, some things that you like about him. He's a calf that just kind of runs up against a pair of really, really good ones.
Well, congratulations over here in your Angus ring results of Class 11B. First place and congratulations will go to Conley or Ransom, 1810. Congratulations to Case Conley of Sulphur, Oklahoma. Second place in that class and congratulations will go to Sunrise Sunset Farm, the Heggards and Weingartner Show Cattle with HAG Black Crow 106. And third place in that class and congratulations goes to Charles Parra, Mason City, Illinois. We'll now bring in Class 12B here in your Angus Bull Show.
Single entry here in our March class, and we get these single entries, not a lot to say and not much to compare them to, but I think I like quality. Certainly, if you look at the number profile, this is one of the better number profile bulls we've had in here today. Get him out here in the ring. Like to see him travel off his front end just a little nicer. He gets a little awkward in his movement, but a bull that's got plenty of length of rib, and appreciate the condition he showed in.
Well, congratulations in Class 12B. First place will go to Caliber Fully Loaded 2101. Congratulations, bred and owned by Caliber Cattle Company, LLC. We'll now bring in Class 13B here in your Angus Bull Show.
really good pair of bulls in this class of February's. Both of these bulls are bulls that I think we could take home and use in certain situations and get along so well. The calf that leads the class, I think, is just the most fault-free. I think he's a little sounder package, especially off that front leg and out of his front shoulder. I think he's really attractive from the side. I'd like to pick his pin placement up ever so slightly, and inversely, I'd like to lower the pin placement of the second-place bull ever so slightly. But I think both of these bulls are good, true, high-quality type of bulls with lots of volume and lots of dimension. I think the calf that wins the class is a little flatter through his shoulder blade. I think he transitions with a little more ease from that shoulder back. Hands on, I think he's a little greener at this stage of the game. He just gets out and travels just with a little more authority and a little more power as compared to the Keffin 2. I love the cleanliness of look, the neck design of the Keffin 2. He's one that you get behind him, you're not disappointed in terms of base width. You love how he's presented, very, very neat and attractive. Today, I'd like to stretch him out and lower his pin placement a little bit for me. Thank you, sis.
Well, congratulations in Class 13B, first place. We'll go to Henrichsen's Markman 1012, known by Ava Henrichsen of Westmoreland, Kansas. In second place in that class, and congratulations, we'll go to Buchanan's Bruno C's 656, owned by Buchanan Cattle Enterprises and Shane Reed. We'll now bring in your next class. This will be Class 14B.
Nice single entry in our January calf. He's got a nice EPD profile at a 101 for yearling weight and 30 pounds of milk. He's not going to just blow you away with his growth, but a calf that is sound. He's got some youthful and attractive front 1/3, very extended out through that 1/3. He's got some power when you get behind him, a nice angle to his rear hock and his rear leg. Just a very useful type of bull for this young lady in her program. We'll talk about him a little bit more in our division.
Well, congratulations in Class 14B. First place, we'll go to Stultz Insight 21. Congratulations to Madeline Brayman. We'll now bring in your first and seconds and select a champion reserve here in our junior yearling division.
Let's put our hands together and show these exhibitors a nice round of applause and our appreciation for their product. 6 bulls out here that I'm sure are representatives of the programs of these exhibitors. A lot of hours of hard work, a lot of genetic potential in each and every one of these bulls. We just sort them kind of how we like them on paper and how we like them in person, leaning more towards the phenotype side of things today. Talk about them a little bit and kind of let you know kind of what's going through our mind. The calf that won the first class, I think he's very attractive to look at from the side view profile. He always has a nice look about him. Where we'd like to change him is just to pull him apart and stretch him out, give him a little longer and more length of spine. But he's a calf that structurally sound-wise, he's without a doubt the most structurally sound one out here. From the knee down to his foot, from his hock down into his rear foot, you like the angle of the pastern, and this is kind of how he won that class, was on that shoulder structure and how he handled that front leg. He's a calf that's not perfect, because we would like to extend him a little bit, but he is base wide. He's got some natural curvature through that rib cage and a lot of internal dimension. I think he's powerful through his forerib, and I like him very well about that. The next calf back, again, a nice calf, not highly presented, not really hairy, but a calf that's very visually acceptable with a lot of length of spine. Big-bodied calf in the Class 3. He's one that we'd like to pick his pin placement up a little bit. That's where I'd like to change him, tidy him up just ever so slightly down through his lower 1/3 of his chest floor. But he's a big powerhouse with a big, large foot under him. The next class is a class that a single entry, one that he wins that class because he is attractive and he is big and powerful out through his hip structure and design. Perhaps just doesn't have the overall quality of a couple of bulls previous in the lineup. Next, we'll be back to a couple other bulls. I know we've talked about them, but these guys are out here. They come a long way, and they deserve a little bit of mic time. I like this calf really well. Dave and I kind of argued quite a bit about this pair of bulls. I think both of these bulls have got good about them. He's really long-topped and really long-spined, extended forward from the point of the shoulder forward. I look at him today and see his lower shoulder and how he handles his front leg, and he just doesn't find his comfort zone out here today. Maybe at home, maybe in a pasture situation, he finds that a little bit more comfort zone, but today he gets just a little ill about movement, especially off that right front one. I like this calf in terms of his hip structure, his hind leg design. I love his ability to push off that rear leg. He's the longest top, longest body bull out here. The second place in the last class, we talked about him in class, but again, a very attractive bull with a lot of things you like in terms of muscle and volume and performance. Nice round of bulls. Let's give them one big more round of applause, and Dave will pick you pair champions.
Well, congratulations. Your junior yearling bull champion coming out of class at 11B. Congratulations, Case Conley, Sulphur, Oklahoma, with Conley Ransom 1810. And congratulations, reserve in this division coming out of that same class. Congratulations to Sunrise Sunset Farm, the Haggards, and Weingartner Show Cattle with HAG Black Crow 106. We'll now look to start your final division here in our Angus Bull Show. We're going to bring in Class 15B.
entry in our October bull calf, and boy, if you need to put muscle in him, here's a calf that can do it. You think about the muscle he has through his top, and get behind him. He's probably as wide stifle and wide hip as any of the calves we've had. A lot of meat and muscle in this calf. Not as heavy structure, doesn't put himself together quite as well, but a nice single entry for this class.
Well, congratulations in Class 15B. First place to go to back number 10581, AML point taken 020, owned by Brent Farms, AM Livestock, and Jackson E. Dill. Now coming in the ring will be Class 16B.
Again, another single entry in our bull show, but here's a nice calf, a nice EPD profile, 100 on yearling weight. Again, not one that blows you away on terms of yearling growth, but still adequate in terms of muscle mass and shape. Super long body and long spine. He's a calf I'd like to see transition a little flatter through his blade and travel back with a little more form and function through that forerib and back into his spine. Big powerhouse bull when you get right behind him. Nice single entry.
Well, congratulations in Class 16B, first place. We'll go to Kirk Vision 9717, bred and owned by Cannon Kirk of Aledo, Texas. We're now going to bring in your final class here in our Angus Bull Show. This will be Class 17B.
Again, our single entry in this class, he's a calf that's got some muscle, some shape, some depth and dimension of rib. Gets a little higher in his rear flank as you compare it to some of the other bulls we've seen this morning and this afternoon. But he is big-footed. He's long-strided. I think he's a calf that's got a lot of value, a lot of potential on down the road. Today, he just needs a little higher quality to go ahead and compete with some of the other bulls later in the day.
Well, congratulations in our final Angus Bull class. First place in 17B will go to Brax Parker Friedrich of Stephenville, Texas. We're now going to bring in all of those firsts and seconds, and our judges will select their champion reserve senior yearling bull.
another division of single entry bulls in our 2-year-old division. Calf that wins the first class, you know, he's just very, very complete. What you see is what you get. You know, the old terminology I've used before, he is very fescue friendly because there won't be a lot of hair on in any of his calves, and he'll handle some pretty harsh heat conditions. He's a calf that's got some muscle and some base width, a very attractive bull. You love him out through his throat latch, the extension of his front 1/3. He's very tight in his sheath. Testicular-wise, he looks like he's got a little bit of chafing. Maybe he froze it here a couple of weeks ago, just ever so slightly. They've done a good job of painting him, but he's square out through his hip. He's nice in his leg design and structure. He's one of the sounder bulls out here for sure. Second class winner again, one that's really long spine and long made. We just like to see a little more quality from front to rear. Like to see him transition a little nicer out of his shoulder back to his spine. See a little more power and softness all the way through. The calf that won their third class, again, one of those big-bodied kind of cattle. Again, like to pick his pin placement, see him a little more powerful out through his hip and hind leg, but a very useful kind of bull. Our division champion today is going to be the young lady that won our first class. Congratulations. For reserve, we're going to go ahead and Dave and I are going to travel back and use the winner of Class 3. He's going to be our reserve champion within this division. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations in our final division here in your Angus Bull Show. Your senior yearling champion will go to back number 10581, AML point taken 020. And reserve champion that division coming out of your final class, BAR USA Class 6114. Congratulations will go to Brax Parker Friedrich of Stephenville, Texas. Well, at this time, we're going to bring in all of our division champions here in our Angus Bull Show. Coming out of Division 1, congratulations went to Jillian Moffitt of Colfax, Iowa with Moffitt FMJ06. Coming in out of Division 2, congratulations, bred and owned by Houston Faree of Sullivan, Indiana. Faree Fitz Black Label 2229. Coming in out of your senior bull calf division, congratulations went to Bowen Bridges of Edmond, Oklahoma with BRDG Primary 26B. Coming in out of your intermediate division, a big congratulations goes to Express Angus Ranches of Yukon, Oklahoma with EXAR Cobra 1734B. Coming in out of your next division, a congratulations goes to Case Conley of Sulphur, Oklahoma with Conley Ransom 1810. And coming out of your final division, a big congratulations going to AML Point Taken 020, exhibited by Brent Farms, AM Livestock, and Jackson Dill. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are sitting in the stands, let's put our hands together and congratulate our Angus Bull exhibitors here at the Cattlemen's Congress.
we get down to the finale, and you know, I'll be honest with you, Dave and I struggled all day long trying to find cattle that went together, that were consistent. We get 6 head out here vying for this championship lineup. They're consistent. They might not be like you like to find them, but they're like we like to find them. They're cattle that can handle several different environments. They're cattle that are structurally sound enough. They're cattle that have got adequate muscle, but they fit more than one environment. They just don't fit this one. They can go out and fit other environments in Montana, in Texas, wherever we need to take these cattle. You know, the art of breeding cattle, in my mind, is a diminishing talent. We've got the guy on one end of things that has the flat billed hat and the 5 speeds hanging around his neck, and he trades a few steers and multitude breeds of heifers, hell, even a few corgi pups if they had chances there. And inversely, we've got the guy on the other end that loses sleep every Thursday night just anticipating in nervous anticipation of the EPD run at the association on Friday morning, and entrusts his entire breeding program to a little girl in a white coat, a microscope, and a drop of blood. Guys, the guy on the left is just as wrong as the guy on the right, in my opinion. The breeders that need to have a little more say in what goes on are probably more towards the middle of this. They will not give up on phenotype, and that is their first and foremost conjecture when breeding cattle. But they also will not compromise on phenotype, genomics, EPDs, and the convenience traits such as ease of fleshing, fertility, foot quality, teat size, udder quality, all the things that we deem sometimes as not economically profitable, but I guarantee in the real world, they come into play very quickly. You know, we've got all these breeding factors and all these things and opportunities, and we'll call them the alphabet indexes. You know, we come up with M and F and G and C and everything to market these cattle. When they were first introduced to this breed, and a good friend of mine was the one that introduced them, I asked him, I said, aren't you just making an opportunity to market cattle differently than what they already have been? He said, oh, I think this is for the commercial customer, and I think our breeders are smarter than that. We've proven that wrong each and every day. Guys, we need to start using all the tools acceptable. We need to get the breeding aspect back into this breed so we can thrive and start forward. I know the diversity of the membership of this breed is what makes this breed strong, and I'm a true believer in that. But we need to find some consistency from top to bottom, and we need to start that from a phenotype standpoint. I think to do that, and I'm going to go out there on a pretty big limb and haven't even asked Mark McCulley about this one, but I think we need to have a type conference of some type. Use some of our research dollars through the foundation to get a type conference started, to get some education started for our new producers and our new people into the business. You know, we've spent plenty of money figuring out how to breed every dairy cow in the country. Let's try to help ourselves a little bit and make some good packages with good numbers. And let's proceed and go ahead. I'll get off my soap opera and I'll get off my box. It's been very enjoyable for me. I appreciate the opportunity to evaluate these cattle. As you know, I've been in the business for a long time. I've got a few gray hairs. My forehead's a little bigger than it used to be. But I enjoy this breed. This celebrates our 90th year in the business in 2023. So I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just try to keep us away from the bad and the ugly. So we're going to pick a pair of champions. Guys, I hope the heifer shows just as competitive as the bull show was. I hope we can find another 8 or 10 heifers to come out here and be consistent from top to bottom and be our kind. Congratulations. I appreciate your time. I know we've taken a little more time today, but I had some things I wanted to get off my chest. I'm going to pick you a champion. Dave will pick reserve. Let's give these guys one hell of a big round of applause. Nice set of bulls.
Well, congratulations, your grand champion Angus Bull here in our Angus Super ROV Bull Show. Congratulations, bred and owned Houston Faree, Sullivan, Indiana, with Faree Fitz, Black Label 2229. And congratulations, your reserve grand champion, Angus Bull. Congratulations, Case Conley, Sulphur, Oklahoma, with Conley Ransom, 1810. Again, congratulations to all of our Angus Bull exhibitors, and a special thank you to our two judges this afternoon, Mr. Jim Pimpkin and Dave Nichols.